Everyone, this is 13 Now, your afternoon update here on News Channel 13. It is 2 o'clock on this Monday, May 1st, and we begin with this breaking news taking place in Schoharie County as the trial is officially underway in the Schoharie Limo crash. The operator of the limo company, Nauman Hussein, on trial and jury selection is underway. My colleague Kumi Tucker is right outside the Schoharie County Courthouse where this is all happening right behind you, Kumi. And this is quite the scene and a high-profile case for this small area.
Very high-profile case. Of course, itself, the deaths, the crash attracted international attention. And at this point now, this trial is being watched very, very carefully. This is a really long process, and we're still on the first day of jury selection. Jury selection could take this entire week. Right now, they are doing some voir dire. So the judge is asking a lot of questions right now to some of the potential jurors about their occupation, about their experiences, about their lives. And so far, not one of the jurors has been seated yet. So they haven't chosen any of the 12 jurors or the 4 alternates so far. But again, this is early on in the process. It's a long and complicated process. We saw Nauman Hussein. He's in court right now. The judge, Judge Peter Lynch, is talking to prospective jurors. Hussein, as you said, was the operator of the limo company involved in the crash in Schoharie, that terrible, terrible crash in Schoharie in October 2018. 20 people died. That's 17 passengers in the limo, the limo driver, as well as 2 people who were at the Apple Barrel Country Store. They were in the parking lot there. Now, the judge explained the charges today, and this is very significant. Hussein is charged with 20 counts of manslaughter and 20 counts of criminal negligent homicide, one each for each of the people who died on that day. Now, jurors can find Hussein not guilty of both or guilty of either one or the other. So if they convict on manslaughter, the top charge, they cannot consider criminally negligent homicide. The difference between those 2 charges is that manslaughter is reckless conduct and the lesser included charge is criminal negligence. So today, both sides are going to be trying to seat those 12 jurors and 4 alternates, and the trial began today, as you know, after a state appellate court denied Hussein's request to restore his guilty plea, the plea that he had made earlier that would have kept him out of jail, but that the plea that this judge, Judge Lynch, had thrown out. So jury selection is a really long process. It's a very complicated one, but it is a crucial one. Very, very important. Defense attorney Lee Kalyn told us earlier that he thought that they would probably call about 1,500 prospective jurors to be questioned here for voir dire. And he also said initially 500 witnesses would be subpoenaed for this trial. He's whittled that down now. He said it's probably about 170. Again, he said that this jury selection itself, because it's so slow and deliberate, especially in this high-profile case, in this high-profile setting, is probably going to take about a week. And we were just listening into the courtroom activity, and it was very interesting because Schoharie County is a big community, but in some ways very, very small. And so one woman who was just called to the stand now, not to the stand, but to the juror's box, one prospective juror, they asked her if she had been a victim of a crime or she herself had been convicted of a crime or anybody in her family. And she said her sister was at the crash scene. So I think that many people in the community know somebody who's been affected by this case. They certainly have heard about it over the years.
Absolutely. It's been several years now since this tragedy happened, and it is well known not just in this area but all across the country. Kumi Tucker giving us an update right outside the Schoharie County Courthouse. Kumi, thank you very much. We'll see you on air on News Channel 13 starting live at 4.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Another breaking story we're following right now regarding the Albany Empire. News Channel 13's sports director Roger Weiland has learned that the head coach was fired. Roger is here in the 13 Now studio to talk a little bit more about this. And Roger, here we go again, more chaos.
Yeah, a lot of layers. And of course, Antonio Brown owning this team. So the head coach, Damon Ware, was fired on the way home from Sunday's loss at Carolina. And since then, the quarterback, Sam Castronova, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the National Arena League, Darius Prince, who's one of the top receivers, and others have left the team. Now, what happened was the way it works with the payment with teams in the National Arena League is Friday before the game. This game was Sunday. So Friday, players are supposed to be paid. The players did not get paid. The coach did not get paid. Okay. That did not sit well with them. So when the game was over, there was a conversation between Damon Ware and Antonio Brown, who was not at the game, but he talked to him on the phone. And the firing is more over Damon Ware unhappy that he and his players did not get paid for playing in a game. And he told his players to go and play, and they did. They lost, close game, but they hadn't gotten paid yet. And as of 1:30 on Monday afternoon, they still had not received any payment yet from Antonio Brown, who's now 90% owner. So I spoke to Antonio Brown literally 10 minutes ago, and he explained to me that the reason they didn't get paid is because they were still switching bank accounts from the previous owner, who was Mike Corda, and there was confusion at the bank, and there was issues there, and they couldn't get it through by Friday. Now it will go through, and all the players will be paid. In the meantime, these players are disgruntled, and they want to move elsewhere.
And some already have moved on.
And some have moved on. Like the quarterback is back in Buffalo. Antonio Brown told me, look, Roger, I want my own team. I want my own players. This is not my team, not my players. They're Mike's players, meaning Mike Corda, the former owner. I want my own guys. So in a lot of ways, Antonio Brown is trying to clean house here and bring in his own guys. It still doesn't excuse the fact that they didn't get paid when they were supposed to, but Antonio Brown has a reason for that. In fact, when I was on with Antonio Brown, he had his account guy on with me on a conference call, and it was explaining to me the bank situation and how that was all rectified, and that today all the players will get the money that they were supposed to get.
What do you think this means for the future of the team, Roger? I mean, there's been first the Antonio Brown debacle, but now here we are with this. Where do we go from here?
Well, I mean, there's going to be a game this Saturday night, and according to Antonio Brown, he will replace the head coach. He'll replace the quarterback. He'll replace the wide receiver. He's got 100 guys coming down for a tryout. Per sources have told me that he might even invite some former NFL players who used to play back in the day that he thinks can still play to be on the team at MVP Arena. But according to Antonio Brown, he has a long-term plan for this. He's going nowhere. And this is just unfortunate that it's going to take him a year to clean things up the way he wants them cleaned up. That's how he explained it to me this afternoon.
Damon Ware posted on social media about this today, calling the team out, calling the whole operation out.
Yeah, and we're going to, yes. And I talked to Damon Ware, and he will talk to us on camera this afternoon, and we'll have Damon Ware on News Channel 13 Live 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. We had asked Antonio Brown to come on as well, and he's like, he doesn't want to get in the back and forth. He's moving on, and he wants new people. He wants new players, and he wants this to be his team. And if guys are going to leave, so be it.
So thank you so much for being here with us and giving us the exclusive update here.
Thanks, Sabrina.
See you on air live at 4. Roger Weiland joining us here in the 13 Now studio. Thank you so much. Another story we're following very closely, an update on the case of the shooting of Kaylin Gillis. Here's the latest on that. We'll show you a little clip of the latest on Kevin Monahan, who was in court. This was 12 days ago for a bail hearing. We have obtained the writ of habeas corpus, the written argument, which is really just the argument to free Kevin Monahan from jail as this trial is pending. And the bail hearing, as I said, was 12 days ago. The judge, Andrew Michelini, at that time ordered Monahan to be remanded without bail. He's accused, of course, of firing 2 rounds from a shotgun at a car turning around in his driveway in Hebron in Washington County, and 20-year-old Kaylin Gillis was killed in that. Monahan's attorney, Kurt Mossert, is arguing that the bail, that the judge should have allowed Monahan to post bail and that remanding him is unwarranted. And this is now scheduled for a hearing this Thursday in Warren County Supreme Court. He is arguing that the arguments that came up in that bail hearing 12 days ago were unwarranted and did not pose the necessary argument to keep his client behind bars, that he should have been allowed to post bail and should have been allowed to be free. So here is that It's 28 pages. I read through it. I'm going to have the latest on that for you starting live at 4, including a comment from the Washington County DA on that as we continue to follow this case very closely. That is your 13 Now update on this Monday afternoon. I'm Sabrina Dhami. We'll see you on air on News Channel 13 with the very latest starting live at 4.